How's it going, everybody? Daner here with North Central Coins, and welcome back to another exciting episode of the most rare and valuable coins in Canada. Today we're going to be taking a look at a fascinating piece of Canadian numismatic history, the 1967 Rabbit Nickel with a rotated die air. For those who may not be familiar, 1967 marked Canada's 100th anniversary or centennial, and to celebrate, special designs were issued for all of the different coin denominations from the penny through to the silver dollar. The Canadian 5-cent coin or nickel featured a charming rabbit design, which has become a favorite among collectors and coin roll hunters alike. However, what makes some of these 1967 nickels particularly intriguing is the rare rotated die air that can be found particularly on the proof set issues. This error occurs when the coin's obverse and reverse are not aligned correctly, leading to a misalignment that can make the coin significantly more valuable than the standard issues. Usually, modern coins aren't worth much more than their face value, but the rotated die air on these 1967 rabbit nickels can elevate their value considerably. Since these coins were only produced around 50 years ago, finding one in circulation today is possible, and if you do come across one while coin roll hunting or searching your pocket change, you definitely want to know what to look for so you don't accidentally let a gem slip back into the wilds of circulation. In this video, we will explore the historical context surrounding the production of this rare and valuable Canadian nickel and delve into why it holds such importance in numismatic history. Also, we will discuss any distinguishing and identifying features, its significance among collectors, and also the potential value if you happen to own or find a legitimate example. Before we do get into this, I would really appreciate if you guys would smash that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and also ring that bell notification so you can stay up to date with my new content as it is being released. And make sure to stay to the end of the video if you'd like to find out how much you can actually get for one of these coins if you do happen to own or find one. And then without any further ado, what do you say we get right into it and discuss the Canadian 1967 rotated die rabbit nickel. Let's get it, guys. The 1967 Canadian Rabbit Nickel is a fascinating coin for collectors, especially due to the rare rotated die air, which can be found with rotations of either 90 or 180 degrees. This particular air is most commonly discovered in Canadian proof sets from the year 1967, but it is also possible to find it on regular issue business strike coins. However, it's super important to note that the most recognized and highly valued versions of the 1967 rabbit nickels with rotated die airs originate from proof sets. Now, to understand the nuances between different types of coin strikes, it's essential to distinguish between proof-like, which is known as PL, brilliant uncirculated, which is known as NBU, and business strike coins, which are known as mint state or MS. Proof-like or PL coins are not intended for circulation. They are struck and sold by the Canadian Mint in special packaging. Despite usually having the same composition as coins produced for circulation, PL coins are set apart by their superior finish, which includes a mirror-like surface and sharp details due to their high-quality strike. The packaging is a key element here because it helps preserve their pristine condition. If these PL coins are removed from their protective envelope or case, it becomes more challenging to differentiate them from uncirculated or business strike coins. The most valuable 1967 rabbit nickels with rotated die airs are usually found from the Canadian PL sets from the year 1967. Now, there are also brilliant uncirculated coins, which are classified as NBU. These coins share some similarities with PL coins. They are also not intended for circulation and are struck and sold by the Mint in special packaging. The term NBU started being used by third-party grading companies and other references beginning in the year 1977, essentially replacing the term proof-like. NBU coins are characterized by their pristine condition. Similar to proof-like coins, if NBU classified coins are removed from their original packaging, it can be extremely hard to distinguish them from regular circulation issues. While the NBU designation came after the year 1967, understanding this terminology will help you understand the types of high-quality strikes that you can look for when it comes to collecting or coin roll hunting. Now, business strike coins are the standard coins produced for everyday use and circulation. These coins are typically minted in large quantities, distributed to the general public, and it is intended to be used as currency for everyday transactions. The condition, finish, and quality of business strike coins will typically not be as high as PL or even NBU coins because they are meant to withstand the rigors of daily handling and circulation. Now, although it is not considered as valuable or rare as the proof-like version, this rotated die error can also appear on regular business strike issues on 1967 Canadian Rabbit Nickels. However, these examples typically do not command as high a value as those from the proof sets due to their lesser finish and the higher likelihood of wear and tear. The 1967 Canadian Rabbit Nickels are a significant piece of Canadian numismatic history, both for their commemorative value and also for the rare rotated die errors that make certain specimens highly sought after by collectors. This coin was issued to celebrate the 100th anniversary of the Confederation of Canada, a landmark event that prompted the Canadian government to commission special designs for the Canadian coin denominations from the penny through to the silver dollar for that year. A few years prior, in 1964, the Canadian Minister of Finance, Walter L. Gordon, announced a competition inviting artists, sculptors, and designers residing in Canada or Canadians living abroad to submit special designs for the new centennial coinage. The competition offered a $2,500 first prize for the winning designs in each of the different 6 coinage denominations. A distinguished panel of judges was appointed to select the winning designs. The winning designs were chosen from submissions received by the competition's closing date on March 31st, 1965, and the winners were announced in the Mint Report of 1966. Alex Colville of Sackville, New Brunswick was selected for all reverses of the 1967 centennial coinage, and Arnold Mockin designed the obverses featuring Queen Elizabeth II. The 1967 5-cent coin, affectionately known as the Rabbit Nickel, features a design by Alex Colville of a hopping rabbit, symbolizing wildlife of Canada and capturing the spirit of centennial celebrations. Unlike the dimes, quarters, half dollars, and silver dollars, which were struck in silver with some in 50% and some in 80%, and only 80% for the half dollars and silver dollars, the rabbit nickels were composed of the usual composition of 99.9% nickel. A particularly intriguing aspect of the 1967 rabbit nickel is the occurrence of these rotated die errors. This error results when the obverse and reverse dies are misaligned when the coins are being struck, leading to the images on the two sides of the coin not being correctly oriented. The two most notable degrees of rotation are 90 degrees and 180 degrees. Now, the errors on the 1967 Canadian Rabbit Nickels are most commonly found in proof sets from 1967, which were specially minted for collectors with higher quality strikes and finishes. To identify a 90-degree rotation, hold the coin with the obverse or the Queen's portrait facing upright. If you then rotate or spin the coin around and the rabbit design appears to be on a 90-degree angle rather than upright, then you have the 90-degree rotated die error. This means that the rabbit design will be oriented horizontally, either to the left or right. To identify the 180-degree error, the rabbit design will be upside down when the obverse or the queen is upright. This means that the rabbit will be directly inverted in comparison to the obverse side of the coin. One of the easiest ways I can suggest to identify this misaligned or rotated die error is to actually put your rabbit nickel into a cardboard coin flip. And then if you flip over to the obverse side and make sure that the queen is facing up, and then you flip over to the rabbit side and it is not oriented in the same direction, then you have yourself the rotated die. That's usually how I check them. Your best chance of being able to find one of these 1967 rotated die PL rabbit nickels is out of a Canadian proof-like set from the year 1967, but that doesn't mean that you can't ever find one in the wild. but if these coins are removed from their original protective packaging, it will be much more difficult and challenging to distinguish them from a regular uncirculated business strike. The rotated die air found on the PL version of these coins is particularly valuable due to the limited number produced and their enhanced quality. While the rotated die air is most recognized and valuable in proof sets, it can also occur in regular issue business strike coins, which were minted for everyday circulation. Business strike coins will typically have a less refined finish compared to PL coins due to the higher speed and larger quantities in which they are produced. Although finding a rotated die air on a business strike version of one of these 1967 Rabbit Nickels is not as valuable as one from the proof set, it still adds a premium to the coin due to the novelty and rarity of the air. These coins, whether found in proof sets or in your pocket change, represent a fascinating intersection of artistry, history, and the meticulous process of coin minting. Collectors highly prize these coins not only for their unique airs, but also for their place in commemorating Canada's centennial, marking an era of national pride and cultural celebration. The combination of Alex Colville's iconic rabbit design and the potential for discovering a rare rotated die air makes these 1967 Rabbit Nickels a compelling addition to any coin collection. Before we get into the values for the different versions of the 1967 rotated die Rabbit Nickels, some of the details and specifications of any of these are off and may indicate that it is not a legitimate example. The overall mintage for the 1967 Canadian Rabbit Nickel is 36,876,574. It is composed of pure nickel. It has a weight of 4.54 grams. It has a current melt value of 12 cents, a diameter of 21.21 millimeters. The standard die axis for 1967 nickels will be in metal alignment, which is the standard for Canadian, British, and Australian coins, but if it has a rotated die air, it may appear more like an American coin, or either the queen or the rabbit will not be oriented in the same direction. Now, the obverse of this coin was designed by Arnold Mockin and the reverse by Alex Colville. Now, what do you say we get into some of the values for the 1967 Canadian rotated die Rabbit Nickels? I'm going to be giving you guys the values for the PL versions of this coin, which is the proof-like. Now, just to give you guys an idea, if you pull one of these 1967 Rabbit Nickels out of a proof-like set and it doesn't have the rotated die air, it can only be worth around $1.50 for a PL63, and it has a maximum value currently of around $35. So not super valuable even on the high end. Now, if you're able to identify the 180-degree rotated die air, which will mean that the rabbit and queen are oriented in the opposite direction of each other, it can be worth around $1,000 for a PL64, and it has a current maximum evaluated price of around $1,900 for a PL66. If it graded any higher, you could easily see a $2,500 nickel. And that is for the 180-degree rotated die air. And then last but not least, we have the 90-degree rotated die air. Now, to identify this one, if you flip over to the obverse and the queen is facing upright, and then you spin over to the reverse, and then the rabbit is facing to the side, then you have yourself the 90-degree rotated die air. Now, there's currently only one evaluated price for this coin, and it is around $1,000 for a PL64, not quite as valuable as the 180-degree air, but if you are able to find either of these and they have the 90 or 180 degree, they are extremely rare and valuable. In most cases, if you do find a rotated die on a business strike version of the 1967 Canadian nickel, it won't be quite as significant as a 90 or 180 degree rotation. It will only be slightly off axis, but if you are able to identify a 90 or 180 degree rotation off of a coin you find in your pocket change, I definitely suggest sending it in, because it may have even been pulled out of a proof-like set at some point. Now, what do you guys think about the 1967 rotated die Rabbit Nickel? What would you do if you ever found one of these, or if you ever have found any of the coins that I discussed in this video? Please let me know down in the comments. I would love to know. Also, I would really appreciate if you guys would smash that thumbs up, subscribe if you're new, and also ring that bell notification so you can stay up to date with my new content as it is being released. But I think that is pretty much going to do it for this one, folks. So until the next one, everybody, peace out and have a good one, y'all.